Hi, I'm Khouri. Welcome back to our talks on maturity. Now today we're going to start talking about how joy helps us grow the three components we need for our maturity. And you know those components because we've talked about them. They're our relationship with God and our relationship and connections with other people and the relational and emotional skills we need to learn to help those rails stay on target. Now, we learned last time that joy is foundational for all three of those areas. But let's start talking about how joy is necessary for that first rail, growing our relationship with God. This first rail I like to call joyful Immanuel healing. And that's a mouthful, but here's what it means. Immanuel healing is an ongoing and increased sense of God's presence with us as we go throughout our day. Immanuel healing means that we're becoming increasingly aware of God's presence with us and being able to interact with Him as we go about our business. That is healing. Immanuel means God with us. And we know from Scripture that in the Old Testament, one of God's names was Jehovah Rapha, or God who heals. So as we develop an increased sense of God's presence with us in a way that we can interact with, we're actually connecting increasingly with God's presence, which is healing to us. Now, that's the kind of thing we need to grow our maturity. That all has to be based in joy. If connecting with God is not based in joy, it quickly becomes duty or obligation that gets dry, that gets old, we get burnt out, and we quit. But when you and I begin to discover that God is delighted to be with us, that He loves us, that He just did and continues to do everything He can to reveal Himself to us, to make Himself known to us in a way that we can relate with Him. When we start to understand that, everything changes. Because all of a sudden, we are connecting with ultimate joy and mature love all the time. We start to have Jesus' experience of, gee, I don't know what to do. I wonder what God's saying to me right now. Or I'm not sure what to do. I wonder what I can see Him doing right now. That is tremendously life-giving. So we're talking about Immanuel healing as being something that's happening in the present as we're interacting with Him right now. As we get better at interacting with Him right now, we also begin to start interacting with Him about places from our past that might have been painful that we just had no idea where He was. We discover that the better we're able to connect with God in joy now, the easier it is to talk to Him about painful places from our past. Places that have left us in fear, left us in anger, left us in unforgiveness, just left us stuck. And the better we're able to sense His presence and talk to Him about those things, the easier it is to heal and remove those blockages to our experiencing His presence now. So that first rail that we need to grow our maturity is all about joyful Immanuel healing, connecting with Him right now in a way that's interactive and totally satisfying. Next, we're going to talk about how joyful community and a place to belong, that second rail, is. We're going to talk about why that's so important and how joy helps us grow that rail so we can mature. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.